Have you ever found yourself, constantly putting others first, trying to make everyone happy, avoiding any kind of conflict?
Or maybe striving for perfection only to end up feeling, well, frustrated, maybe unappreciated, or even a bit resentful.
Yeah, exactly. Like you give and give, really believing it's the right way, the way to get love and fulfillment.
But you consistently feel like you're just not getting much back in return. It's a really common feeling, actually.
It is, isn't it? And it's confusing. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into a really fascinating book that unpacks these exact patterns. No More Mr. Nice Guy by Robert Glover.
Now that title, Mr. Nice Guy, it might make you think it's only about a certain type of man.
Right, but it's so much broader than that. The book digs into this belief system that honestly can unconsciously shape anyone's life, anyone's relationships. Doesn't matter about gender or background.
That's the key takeaway. It gets at what the book calls the nice guy syndrome, which is basically this deep-seated belief. The idea that if we're always good, giving, and caring,
then everything will be okay.
Yeah, exactly. They will automatically be happy, loved, and life will just be, problem-free, smooth sailing.
But here's the twist, and this is where it gets really interesting. That belief. The book shows, with tons of examples, it's often a myth.
A total myth. And worse, it can actually lead to these ingrained, not-so-nice behaviors and a lot of personal frustration.
So our mission today is really to break down the core ideas from this book. We want to help you understand these patterns, maybe see them in yourself or in others.
And give you some actionable strategies, things you can actually use for self-reflection, for building healthier, more authentic ways of interacting with people.
Whatever your background. This deep dive is really like a shortcut, isn't it? Moving from just trying to please everyone to finding genuine self-acceptance and real connection. Okay, so let's dive deeper. What does this nice guy blueprint, actually look like on the surface? What are those outward signs?
Well, on the surface, someone operating from this blueprint is really concerned about looking good, doing things right.
Always appearing perfect.
Kind of, yeah. They often say they're happiest when making other people happy. And they will avoid conflict like the plague. Seriously, go to great lengths not to upset anyone.
So they seem peaceful, generous.
Exactly. Peaceful and generous. The book notes, especially for men, there's often this specific concern about pleasing women, wanting to be seen as different from other men.
And it all comes back to that core belief.
Right, that flawed belief. If I'm good, giving, and caring, then I'll get back happiness, love, fulfillment. It's the underlying assumption.
Okay, but here's that paradox we mentioned, the name nice guy. It's actually misleading, isn't it?
Oh, completely. Because underneath that agreeable surface, these individuals are often simmering. There's so much frustration, so much resentment built up.
That they end up being not nice at all.
Pretty much, yeah. It's this fascinating, not-so-nice paradox. Let's unpack some of those traits lurking beneath.
Okay, like what?
Well, for starters, they can be surprisingly dishonest and secretive.
Really? How so?
Hiding mistakes is a big one. Avoiding conflict, obviously, but also saying what they think people want to hear instead of what they truly feel. Repressing their actual feelings.
Wow. The book has that quote, right? If at first you don't succeed.
Hide the evidence. Exactly. It captures that perfectly.
And it's not just hiding things, is it? It can become more active.
Definitely. It often evolves into being manipulative and controlling.
How does that work?
Well, because they find it so hard to just ask directly for what they need.
Ah, so they try to get it indirectly.
Right. Through manipulation. And this leads to this constant need to control people, control situations, just trying to keep their world feeling smooth and predictable, to avoid any bumps.
So that outward generosity, the niceness, it's not always genuine then.
Not always pure generosity. Often it's what the book calls give to get. There are these unconscious and unspoken strings attached.
Okay, so they're giving, but expecting something specific back, even if they don't say it.
Precisely. And that's where the deep frustration and resentment really kick in when that expected payback doesn't happen.
And how does that frustration come out?
Often passively. Passive-aggressive behavior is really common.
Like what kind of things?
Things like being unavailable suddenly.
Yeah.
Forgetting appointments or commitments, being late all the time, not following through on promises. Even things like sexual issues, like climaxing too quickly, can be a form of this. Or just repeating annoying habits they promised they'd stop. It's all indirect ways of expressing that buried anger.
So all that anger from years of frustration and unmet needs, it just builds up.
It builds and builds. The book describes them as potentially being full of rage. And it can explode at really unexpected times, often seeming way out of proportion to the trigger.
Wow. And to cope with all that pain.
Addictive behaviors are very common. A way to medicate the pain, keep things bottled up. Sexual compulsiveness is mentioned as being particularly common.
And boundaries. That seems like it would be hard.
Incredibly hard. Difficulty setting boundaries is a hallmark. They struggle to say no, which leaves them feeling like, well, helpless victims.
It's ironic, isn't it? They crave connection so much.
But all these behaviors actually push people away, create distance, leads to isolation.
And you mentioned they're often drawn to projects, people who need fixing.
Yeah, that's a classic pattern. It feeds into the giving pattern, but often avoids true intimacy.
So ultimately, it leads to relationship problems, big ones.
Definitely. They can be terrible listeners because they're often focused on fixing or managing things, dishonest because they fear conflict. They might blame partners for their own unhappiness. And as mentioned, often issues with sexuality, dissatisfaction, dysfunction, maybe acting out.
You know, reading the story of Jason, that chiropractor, it just clicked. He saw his life as perfect, except for the sex part, prided himself on never losing his temper, always trying to do things right.
But he felt totally unappreciated by his wife, Heather.
Exactly. Like when he dressed their baby, Chelsea and Heather immediately criticized the outfit choice. Like, why'd you dress her in that? That's a good outfit. Implying he should have saved it.
Oof. Undermining.
Totally. Or he cleans the whole kitchen and she focuses on the one thing he didn't do yet. His big complaint was, I do a lot more than most guys. It seems like I'm always giving so much more than I get. He just wanted appreciation.
And Jason's story is so important because it highlights how universal this is. It's not just one type of person.
Right. The book mentions Omar, pleasing his girlfriend, but totally emotion and shut off.
Todd, respectful of women but can't get a date, convinced the jerks get all the attention.
Bill, who literally can't say no to anyone. Gary, tolerating his wife's rage attacks, always apologizing.
Rick, a gay man holding everything together for his alcoholic partner. Lyle, devoutly religious, but with a secret porn addiction.
And Jose, stuck with a needy girlfriend he's terrified of hurting.
See, such different lives, different situations, straight, gay, religious, not, but they all show these core nice guy patterns. It really goes beyond simple labels.
Okay, so it's clear these patterns are deep. How does the book explain where they actually come from, especially thinking about childhood?
Yeah, the book argues these paradigms, these sort of roadmaps for life, get formed when we're really young and vulnerable.
Based on early experiences.
Right, but often based on inaccurate interpretations of those experiences. The specific ineffective nice guy paradigm boils down to this core belief. If I can hide my flaws and become what I think others want me to be.
That's the implicit formula, yeah, the survival script they adopt.
And how does a kid arrive at that belief? What's the process?
Well, it starts with a couple of fundamental things about kids. First, they're completely helpless and dependent. Their absolute biggest fear is abandonment. To a child, abandonment feels like death.
Okay, that's intense. It is. And second, kids are ego-centered. They think everything that happens is because of them.
Ah, so they connect unrelated events to themselves.
Exactly. So combine those two. A deep fear of abandonment and the belief that they cause everything. Now imagine any childhood experience of abandonment, and this could be anything from actual neglect to just needs not being met consistently, a parent being angry or critical, shaming, even just having unrealistic expectations placed on them.
The child thinks.
It's my fault.
Yeah.
They internalize it. This leads to what the book terms toxic shame.
Toxic shame.
That deep gut level belief that you are fundamentally bad, defective, different, or unlovable. It's incredibly painful.
Wow. So to cope with that feeling.
They develop survival mechanisms, strategies to prevent being abandoned again, and crucially to hide this perceived badness.
And trying to be good is one of those strategies.
It's a major one. Trying to be what they think others want them to be. The perfect, pleasing, non-problematic child. That becomes the script.
That really puts the examples of Alan, Jason, and Jose into perspective. Alan wanted to be the total opposite of his abusive, absent father.
He made a conscious decision, driven by that childhood pain.
And Jason, trying so hard to be perfect for his critical dad and trying to get attention from his emotionally needy mom.
Two different pressures, same outcome.
Yeah.
Trying to be something else to get approval or avoid pain.
And Jose becoming the fixer in his chaotic family. taking responsibility for everyone else.
Right. So very different family dynamics, different specific experiences.
But they all learn the same core message. It's not okay to just be who I am.
Exactly. It was not okay for a boy or man to be just who he is. And it's important to see how this isn't just about the family.
There are bigger forces at play. Societal influences.
Definitely. The book points to broader social shifts over the last, say, 5 decades. Things like industrialization, meaning fathers were often less present in the home.
Okay.
Educational systems often being female-dominated. Even certain aspects or interpretations of feminism.
How did they contribute?
They sometimes reinforce the idea that men, particularly, should suppress traditionally negative or assertive male traits, that they should look more towards women for definition and approval.
So it kind of created this pressure towards being softer.
Yeah, leading to what some call soft males or boy men. But the crucial point isn't just about men or a specific generation like baby boomers. It's about how these broader societal pressures influence anyone to suppress parts of their authentic self to fit in, to gain acceptance.
So that's like a double whammy, childhood stuff and cultural conditioning.
Exactly, and this conditioning gets passed down, affecting later generations too. It's a powerful combination, shaping how we learn to relate to ourselves and others.
Okay, so we understand the patterns, we see the roots in childhood and society. Where do we even start to change this? What's the first, maybe most radical step the book suggests?
It is pretty radical. The book says, fundamentally, to find real connection, you have to stop chasing external validation. Stop trying to get other people's approval.
And start seeking
your own approval.
Yeah.
That is the absolute foundation for any real change.
Seeking your own approval. How do you even do that?
Well, the first practical step is just becoming aware. Start identifying your approval-seeking behaviors. Pay really close attention to how you use external things. The book calls them attachments.
Like what kind of things?
Could be anything. Physical appearance, your talents, being seen as nice, having a clean car, your job title.
Yeah.
Anything external you use to feel valuable.
Okay.
There's a great story about a guy named Cal. He was obsessed with keeping his car spotless.
Yeah.
Thinking people judged him by it. He didn't experiment, didn't wash it for a month. Nobody cared, like at all. Realizing that it freed him from that specific need for approval. It's about noticing your patterns.
That sounds potentially uncomfortable. Giving up those things you rely on.
It often is uncomfortable at first, which leads to the second strategy. Consciously take good care of the self. Deliberately doing nice things for yourself. Not for anyone else's approval, but for you. Exercise, healthy food, enough sleep, maybe getting a massage, buying yourself something nice like new shoes.
Even if it feels selfish or weird at first.
Especially then. Because doing those things directly challenges that deep down belief that you're not worthy. It creates what psychology calls cognitive dissonance. Your actions, treating yourself well, clash with the old belief, I'm not worth it. And eventually, the belief starts to shift.
Like Todd, the guy who couldn't get dates.
Exactly. He started small, buying himself new socks because he felt he wasn't worth nice things. Then he joined a gym, then a singles club. Each step built on the last, challenging that inner critic.
Okay, so noticing approval seeking and taking care of yourself. What else? The book talks about affirmations, right?
Yes, positive affirmations are the third tool. Using statements like, I am lovable just as I am, or my needs are important, or I am perfectly imperfect.
Do they actually work?
They can, especially when you use them consistently to consciously replace those old, negative, inaccurate self-beliefs. They work best alongside the other actions, reinforcing the change.
Makes sense. And what about spending time alone? That seems important too.
Crucial. That's the fourth strategy. Spending extended periods alone. It's essential for real self-discovery.
Why alone?
It forces you to figure out what you want, what your rules for life are, without external input or needing to please anyone else. And it helps you confront that deep fear. Many nice guys have the fear of loneliness or isolation.
Okay. And the final piece of building self-approval, this sounds like a big one, revealing yourself to safe people.
This is huge. Absolutely paramount for releasing that toxic shame we talked about.
How does revealing yourself help with shame?
Because shame thrives in secrecy. When you start sharing the things you feel most vulnerable or bad about, little by little, with people you trust and they don't reject you.
It proves the shame wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It breaks the power of the shame. There's an incredibly powerful story about Reed, a recovering alcoholic. He relapsed, drank, went to peep shows, felt utterly worthless. He was terrified to tell his support group.
But he did.
He did. And instead of judgment, he got acceptance, unconditional support. That experience fundamentally changed him. It proved I am not bad. I don't have to hide. People can love me, flaws and all.
Wow. Okay, so building self-approval is foundational. That leads right into the next big area. Prioritizing your own needs. This is where nice guys really struggle, right? Trying to seem needless.
Oh, massively. They try so hard to appear self-sufficient, like they don't need anything, which ironically makes it almost impossible for others to give to them authentically.
And they rely on those covert contracts you mentioned.
Yes, those unconscious, unspoken deals. I'll do this for you, and you'll automatically do this for me. But the other person doesn't even know the contract exists, so everyone ends up frustrated.
The book makes a distinction here, doesn't it, between caring and caretaking?
Yes, and it's a critical difference. Caring is giving genuinely from a place of abundance, focused on what the receiver actually needs, with no strings attached.
Okay.
Caretaking, on the other hand, is giving what the giver feels they need to give, often from a place of emptiness or neediness themselves. And it almost always has those unconscious strings attached. It's about managing the giver's anxiety, not truly helping the other person.
Can you give an example?
Reese is a good one. She kept getting into relationships with men who needed rescuing or fixing. She'd give and give and give.
But felt empty.
Completely unfulfilled. Because her giving was caretaking, it was meeting her need to be needed, not necessarily what was best for her partners or the relationship.
And when those covert contracts fail, when the caretaking doesn't get the desired response, that's when the victim triangle happens.
Exactly. It's this nasty cycle. You give to get, caretaking, you feel frustrated and resentful when your unspoken expectations aren't met, and then comes the victim puke.
Victim puke. That sounds...
It is. It's those outbursts, rage attacks, passive-aggressive jabs, shaming, blaming. Suddenly, the nice person isn't so nice.
Like Shane on Raquel's relationship.
Perfect example. He was constantly giving her gifts, doing things for her total caretaking. But it made her feel smothered and indebted. It pushed her away. Then they'd fight. He'd feel like a victim, apologize, promise to be better, I'd try harder to please her, and the cycle would start all over again.
So how do you break that cycle? What's the alternative?
The alternative is transformative, becoming truly selfish, consciously making your own needs a priority.
Selfish sounds bad, though.
The book reclaims the word. It's not about being narcissistic or disregarding others. It's about mature self-responsibility, taking care of your own needs first, so you can genuinely care for others from a place of fullness, not emptiness.
Okay, so it's a positive kind of selfish. Got it. Does it actually work in practice?
The examples are compelling. Like the host himself in the book, his wife was wishy-washy about a holiday weekend, so he just planned what he wanted to do. Guess what? She joined him. They had a great time.
Huh. Instead of waiting for her approval.
Right. Or Lars, who started going to the gym every day. His wife initially laid guilt trips on him, but he kept going because it was his priority. Eventually, she got inspired and started going too.
Wow.
Reese decided to cut back on social stuff for his own well-being, fully expecting his boyfriend to dump him. But he didn't. And Shane, when he finally stopped the constant caretaking and gift-giving with Raquel...
She felt less smothered.
Exactly. And she actually started being more giving and appreciative towards him. It's counterintuitive, but prioritizing your needs often improves relationships.
Okay, self-approval, prioritizing needs. The next big piece seems to be reclaiming personal power and setting boundaries. Why do nice guys feel so powerless, like victims?
Because their whole life paradigm is built on sacrificing their power. They give it away constantly trying to please, avoiding conflict, seeking external validation. They see life as this chaotic thing they have to control by doing it right or playing it safe instead of trusting their ability to handle whatever comes.
So what does personal power mean here?
The book defines it beautifully. A state of mind in which a person is confident he can handle whatever may come. It's an internal sense of capability.
Okay, how do you get that? What are the strategies?
First strategy is surrendering.
Surrendering, like giving up.
No, not giving up. It's about letting go of what one can't change and changing what one can. Accepting reality, basically.
Example?
Gil and Barb. He was always trying to fix her issues. His breakthrough came when he surrendered that need. He accepted she was who she was, accepted he'd be okay even if they split up. And paradoxically...
Their relationship got better.
Way better. They ended up getting married. Letting go of control gave him power, and it changed the dynamic.
Okay, surrender. What's next?
Second, dwelling in reality, similar, but focused on letting go of distorted beliefs about people or situations. Seeing things as they are, not how you wish they were.
Like Les, with his wife.
Exactly. He had this idealized image of her. When he finally accepted her actual behavior, the good and the bad, it was painful. but it allowed him to make clear, necessary choices for himself, which included eventually divorcing. Honesty with oneself.
Third strategy, expressing feelings. This seems like a big hurdle.
Huge. Guys are often terrified of strong emotions, their own and other people's. The message is, feelings won't kill you. They're just information.
The host's story about the car accident is relevant here.
Yes. His wife, Elizabeth, backed into a car. He wasn't angry about the accident itself, but about her shutting down emotionally afterward. When he expressed that anger clearly and directly, I feel angry when you withdraw, instead of making things worse.
It brought them closer.
Yeah, she actually felt safer because he was being real. The key is owning your feeling. I feel angry, not blaming. You make me mad. Big difference.
Okay. Fourth strategy, facing fears, especially those deep childhood fears.
Yes, what the book calls memory fear. Those old anxieties that pop up and paralyze you in adult situations.
Like Nolan deciding about his divorce.
Right. He was terrified. His breakthrough came from repeating a simple mantra, I can handle it. No matter what happens, I will handle it. That gave him the courage to take the next step, call the attorney. It's about building that internal confidence.
Fifth is developing integrity. What does that mean in this context?
Simply, deciding what feels right and doing it, even when it's uncomfortable or scary. Living in alignment with your values.
Like Joel, who secretly watched movies instead of going straight home.
Yeah. He realized his lying wasn't just about movies. It was maintaining a whole fear-based dynamic with his wife. Choosing authenticity, even when it might cause temporary conflict, actually liberates your personal power. Dishonesty drains it.
And finally, underpinning all of this, setting boundaries.
Absolutely fundamental. It's a skill nice guys desperately need to learn. The book uses a shoestring exercise analogy. They tend to state a boundary, then immediately backpedal when they get pushback.
Or they go too far the other way. The kamikaze boundary setters.
Yeah. Overcorrecting initially with super rigid boundaries. The key insight is, setting a boundary is about your behavior, what you will or won't accept or do. It's not about controlling the other person.
Jake's story with Keisha seems like a powerful example here.
Definitely. He was tolerating her infidelity, her drinking, her putting him down, because he was afraid to set boundaries. His tolerance enabled her behavior.
But when he finally did, set clear limits.
Like no dancing with other men, no demeaning comments, get help for the drinking. It was terrifying for him. He thought she'd leave. But it was the only thing that created a chance for the relationship to actually heal. It saved it, in their case. Boundaries are about self-respect.
Okay, so we've covered self-approval, needs, power, boundaries. The book also talks about embracing your authentic self, particularly touching on masculinity. But you've stressed these principles are universal.
Absolutely. While the book uses male examples heavily, the core struggle is about reclaiming parts of yourself you suppressed because you thought they were unacceptable or unlovable. This happens regardless of gender.
So what does this suppression look like? How does it manifest?
Well, one way is being disconnected from peers of your own gender, like men who think most men are jerks and only feel comfortable with women, or vice versa. This cuts you off from really valuable same-sex support and connection.
Also being disconnected from your own inner strength.
Yeah, repressing those darker or more assertive aspects of yourself, not embracing your full range. This can lead to feeling kind of flat, lacking life energy, maybe hesitant to take the lead.
And being stuck in childhood patterns, like that monogamous bond to mom idea.
Or to any primary caregiver, yeah. If that early bond wasn't resolved in a healthy way, it can make it really hard to form fully intimate adult relationships later on. You're still unconsciously tied to that first relationship.
And still depending on external approval.
Yeah.
Especially from the opposite gender.
Right, which, paradoxically, often leads to contempt from the very people whose approval you're seeking, because they sense the lack of authenticity. They want someone real.
Okay, so recognizing these disconnections is the first step. What are the actions you can take to reclaim your authentic self?
A big one is actively connecting with others who embody traits you admire or want to develop. Build real friendships, non-sexual ones. Find mentors, join groups.
Like Alan joining the men's group and playing sports.
Exactly. That helped him become less dependent, needy, manipulative, and resentful with his wife, simply because he had other healthy outlets and saw other ways of being.
And consciously breaking those unhealthy childhood bonds.
Yes, choosing healthy individuation. Like Jamie's boyfriend going into the Marines, forming strong bonds with other men, gave him the strength and perspective to finally set boundaries with his overly involved mother. New healthy connections help break old, unhealthy ones.
Getting strong physically and emotionally is mentioned too.
Definitely. Taking care of your body exercise, healthy habits, it builds confidence. Travis's story is powerful. Moving from addictions, neglecting himself to getting healthy, filing for divorce from a bad relationship, and just feeling strong. That physical strength often translates mentally.
What about role models?
Seeking out healthy role models is key. Consciously identifying people could be someone you know, someone in history, someone in media who embodies the qualities you want, and really observing how they operate, how they live.
And looking back at your relationship with your parents.
Yeah, re-examining those dynamics, not to blame them, but to understand your patterns. Matthew realizing after a call with his dad that he was recreating that same villain-victim dynamic with his wife was a huge breakthrough. It allowed him to change his behavior.
And finally, passing it on.
Yes, modeling this newfound authenticity for younger people. Like Trey, who'd been a difficult teen himself, becoming this really positive influence for his nephew, building a workbench together. It shows how reclaiming yourself doesn't just benefit you, it ripples outwards. It creates healthier models for the future. Now, applying all this, it has real consequences for existing relationships. The book doesn't sugarcoat it.
Right. It says your current relationship will either start to grow in exciting ways,
or it might head for a long overdue grave. Because you're choosing authenticity. And only relationships that resonate with your authentic self will survive and thrive.
George's story illustrates this, doesn't it?
Perfectly. He stopped trying to make his wife Susan happy all the time. He went back to his passions, hunting, fishing, set boundaries about money.
And the result?
He felt way less like a victim. Susan, surprisingly, became less dependent and actually seemed happier too. Their marriage improved because he became more himself. So beyond just becoming more authentic yourself, what are some specific strategies for making relationships healthier?
One key shift is focusing on the relationship itself, not just trying to fix the partner.
How did that work?
Instead of thinking, if only she would just do X, you ask yourself, why did I need to co-create this specific dynamic? What lesson is here for me?
Taking responsibility for your part. Like Carl, who started seeing his angry wife, Danita, not as the problem, but as a gift that was forcing him to confront his own fear of anger. That shift changed everything for him.
Okay, taking responsibility. What else?
Second, stop reinforcing behaviors you don't want. The book uses a great dog training analogy.
Don't reward bad behavior.
Basically, yeah. If you don't like a behavior, stop giving it attention. Stop reacting in the old ways. Joe's wife used to give him silent treatments, these long rages. He used to try everything to fix her mood.
Which just reinforced it.
Exactly. When he finally stopped trying to fix it, just went about his business. She eventually had to deal with her own moods. The dynamic broke. She started resolving her own stuff. It led to a much healthier interaction.
And if a relationship ends, or if you're single and starting again?
Third strategy. Do something different. Don't just repeat the old patterns with a new person. Approach new relationships with a conscious, healthy agenda, not the old, unconscious, dysfunctional one.
Meaning?
Choose partners who don't need fixing. Look for people who are already taking responsibility for their own lives, who have passion, integrity, happiness, who are committed to their own growth.
And the book suggests something potentially controversial about sex and new relationships.
Yeah, it suggests maybe refraining from being sexual right away, holding off until you actually know the person.
Why?
Because, as the book puts it, sex creates such a powerful bond that it is difficult to accurately evaluate the appropriateness of a new relationship when you're in the midst of all those intense early chemicals.
Makes sense. Taking time to see clearly. Like Aaron and Hannah.
Exactly. They had a sexual moratorium, took a step back, and it allowed them to build a much more authentic connection before adding sex back into the equation. It's about conscious choosing.
So it's really clear how transformative these ideas are for relationships. But the book takes it even further, doesn't it? Applying these principles to your whole life, work, career, your potential.
Absolutely. It argues that so many talented, capable people underachieve precisely because these nice guy patterns hold them back in their careers too.
How so? What are the specific ways it shows up in work?
Well, fear is a big one. Fear of failure, obviously, but also, surprisingly, fear of success.
Fear of success.
Maybe fear of the responsibility, fear of standing out, fear won't last. Then there's the trap of trying to do it right all the time.
Which kills creativity.
Totally stifles it. And trying to do everything themselves. Nice guys are often terrible at asking for help or delegating. They think they have to carry it all.
What else?
Self-sabotage is common. Procrastination, not finishing things. Also, that deprivation thinking. The scarcity mindset, believing there isn't enough success or money or opportunity to go around.
And getting stuck.
Yeah, staying stuck in familiar but dysfunctional systems. Like recreating those childhood roles.
Yeah.
The fixer, the peacemaker, the invisible one in their jobs, even if it limits them.
Okay, so if these patterns are hindering potential, what are the strategies the book offers to break free and find your passion, achieve more?
Again, it starts with facing fears. Charlie's story's great here. Hated his job, dreamed of being a pilot, but was scared. Scared of group therapy, scared of asking for a raise, scared of criticism.
But he faced them.
He adopted that mantra. If it frightens me, do it, and I can handle it. He went to the group, demanded the raise, and got fired, but handled it, got his pilot's license, found a better engineering job. Facing fear unlocks potential.
Second, charting your own path. Being intentional.
Exactly. Not just drifting or letting life happen.
Yeah.
Making conscious choices. The author uses his own journey, getting a PhD, building his therapy practice, writing this book as an example. It wasn't luck.
It was.
Conscious decision, persistence, and hard work. The message is empowering. What one man can do, another man can do. What one person achieves, others can too if they choose it.
Third, letting go of trying to do it right. That perfectionism trap again.
Yes. Even the author admitted he struggled to finish this very book because he felt it had to be perfect.
What freed him up?
Giving himself permission to never publish it. Sounds crazy. But releasing that pressure allowed him to finally get it done. Perfectionism kills passion and stops you from finishing things.
Fourth, asking for help. This seems like a recurring theme.
Because it's such a huge block for nice guys. They think needing help is weak. Phil's transformation is amazing here. He couldn't even ask his wife for sex or his father-in-law for a loan initially.
Well, he learned.
Through his support group, he learned to ask. He got help starting his landscaping business, help learning to teach snowboarding. Asking for help opened up his entire life. It's a strength, not a weakness.
Fifth, identifying your own self-sabotaging behaviors. Getting honest about how you get in your own way.
Yeah, really noticing. Where do you waste time? Procrastinate, start but not finish. Take care of others instead of your own goals. Make excuses. Sal, stuck in that awful body shop job, unwilling to even explore other options than self-victimization. It's about deciding to get out of your own way.
And sixth, changing your worldview. Shifting from scarcity to abundance.
Exactly. Moving from deprivation thinking, that's never enough, I might lose it all, to abundance thinking. There's plenty, good things flow. Russell, the successful salesman, terrified of financial ruin, a classic deprivation mindset.
How do you shift?
Visualization can help. Consciously imagining an abundant world, reminding yourself that opportunities exist. It's a mental muscle to build.
Finally, the book offers this no more Mr. Nice Guy strategy for success, like a set of personal rules.
Yeah, rules for living that actually work, measured by their effectiveness in creating the life you want. They're really powerful guidelines.
Can you list a few?
Sure. Things like, if it frightens you, do it. Don't settle. Put yourself first. That positive selfishness again. No matter what happens, you will handle it. Be clear and direct. Learn to say no. Live with integrity. And importantly, have fun.
Those sound like rules for a much more empowered life. Hashtag outro.
Definitely. So, wrapping up our deep dive today, we've really unpacked this whole nice guy syndrome. We looked at where it comes from, those early childhood messages, the societal pressures.
And how it shows up those frustrating patterns in relationships, work, life, the paradox of trying to be nice but ending up resentful.
But the key takeaway isn't to become not nice or, a jerk. The goal is integration, becoming an integrated, authentic person.
Someone who accepts themselves, flaws and all. Who prioritizes their own needs in a healthy way, reclaims their personal power, embraces their whole self, not just the acceptable parts.
And ultimately builds genuinely satisfying relationships and lives based on that authenticity.
And the tools we've talked about, the strategies from the book, they really do work. People see profound changes when they apply them.
So the invitation to you, listening, is to reflect. Which of these breaking free ideas resonated most? What's one small step you could take?
Maybe it's finding one safe person you can start being more real with, or committing to one act of self-care this week, setting one small boundary you've been avoiding.
Or maybe just consciously thinking about a different path for your life or career.
And here's a final thought to leave you with. What aspect of yourself have you been hiding? What part have you suppressed because you believed deep down it makes you unlovable or unacceptable?
What if that very part, if you could reveal it, embrace it? What if that's actually the key to the authentic connection, the passion, the abundant life you truly crave?
That's our deep dive for today. We really hope this exploration has sparked some new insights, maybe given you a bit of a roadmap for your own journey of self-discovery and transformation.